What's going on, YouTube? It's been a while since I've made a video. Back with the car and back with some more content pretty soon here. And I wanted to kind of show you guys what I've been doing to this thing because it's been a while and there's been a lot of work that I've done to this thing off camera. And I should have filmed it all because it was actually a lot of pretty cool work, but it was very time consuming. And at the time I was just trying to get the thing road legal because I actually got a VI. I needed to add a whole bunch of stuff, so I'm gonna go over real quick kind of the things I added, what I'm gonna do today, because today I'm gonna be checking the fuel system out. I'm also gonna be putting a new battery, doing an oil change, and oil filter change, and I'd also like to pull the fuel rail off real quick, just take a quick look at all the injectors and just make sure there's no debris or anything in there, just as kind of just a bit of a safety. I've been noticing a little bit of a weird issue, and I don't think this is it, but I'd rather just take off the rail, check the injectors, and I'm not going to send them off to be flow tested or anything, but just as a little sanity check, they haven't been taken off since they've been installed, so not a bad idea. I'll also pull that little pre-filter out and clean that. There is a filter before the pump at the back of the car, and I guess that's another thing I did that I haven't shown all you guys. Actually, let me grab the light real quick. Last year, I upgraded the pump to a 400, AM 400, because it got to a point where the other pump just couldn't keep up anymore. And it wasn't really a high performance pump. It was like a 200 liter per hour pump or something like that, maybe a little bit more. And it just couldn't keep up. So the first issue I had was when I put the new pump on, it was too much for the factory relay. And it started to have issues where the pump couldn't get enough power, and I was fighting that for a while. Finally figured out that the factory relay just couldn't handle the amperage of this bigger pump. So put a new relay in and did all that stuff. It's been way better. As soon as I put the new relay in, the pump was way louder, which I could tell it was getting enough power. So a couple changes I did, I'll jack the car up and show you guys better, was I put these lines in here that come off the tank. So you got your feed and return. It's a -10 for the feed, -6 for the return. I'll probably change that later and do like a -8 or something return and make that even better later on. But then you can see, okay, there we go. I got the filter and the pump mounted right there, just like a little pre-filter, and then goes to the pump, heads up to the front of the car there. And then in the back here, you can't really see it all, but I'll show you what I can, is I finally did like an aluminum panel over all this stuff. The cops didn't like just seeing the fuel tank sitting right there. The VI guy didn't really have an issue with it, but the racetrack also didn't really like it. So this was my fix on how to make it look cleaner and whatnot. Let me open the door here. Let's see, okay, so there you go. Kind of paneling come down, fuse box there, relay there. Super simple, nothing too complicated. Move the seat forward. Okay, so this is how you get to your fuse panel. Got all your fuses, couple spares. I found this at PA, Princess Auto here in Canada. And it's got little LEDs on it too, so when you pop a fuse, it instantly lights up the LED. You instantly know what's wrong. Super easy, pretty convenient. I don't know why factory cars don't come with that. They should. And then yeah, my battery, Ukrainian tire, whatever battery, lasted like a year and a bit, and then it crapped out. So I went and got a new battery today. Thank God they warrantied it. What else did I add? Oh yeah, I added a washer fluid tank because that needed that to pass the VI. And in the front of the car here, put the seat back, there we go. I had to add some labels to all my switches because they said that if they're not labeled, they won't pass it. So I had to do all that. So we got over here, we got our boost gauge, interior lights, cluster, power, headlights, radio, and high beams. And then over here we got our hazards. The factory turn signal thingy was acting up, so I had to change that out. So I got a little switch down here, left and right turn signals, horn, or this is the washer fluid spray, and then horn right here. All my little switches in a nice little area. And we got our fuel and rad fan here. The rad fan comes on automatically from the ECU, but figured it was nice to have a switch just in case you want to turn it on and get some heat out of the engine bay or whatever if you have the track. So yeah, not too much change there. Put this little cool gauge cluster in to make that look a little nicer. I don't know if you guys remember before, but it was a piece of cardboard, so that looks a little bit nicer. Got this little knock sensor off eBay, or knock read detector thingy. It's okay. I wouldn't say it's like super good, but I've set the timing to be pretty like mild, like not too crazy. And I'm honestly not really going to play with it too much more. It's at a point where the car is happy. I'll double check, but I think it's around 15 degrees of timing when it's at full boost. So maybe it's a little aggressive, but everything seems to be good. So I'll leave it at that. Other thing I was going to show you guys was I changed the ECU mount location. So before it was kind of roughly mounted, wasn't really too good. I could tell the car would kind of act up weird sometimes when I'd get into like a really bumpy situation. I'm sure, you know, 25-year-old electronics, oh, that door's locked. 25-year-old electronics probably don't really like to be bounced around too much as this thing is stiff suspension and loud noises and whatnot. So I'm sure it doesn't like any of it, but I might replace a few components on it maybe this winter, do like a bit of a, or just buy a whole new ECU, we'll see. So anyways, I've been having a couple issues with the ECU, not really liking, I think, the closed loop. I've been noticing this glitch ever since day one of me trying the closed loop stuff, where if I do like a big boost pull or I go like pretty hard on it, it will like freeze up completely and get stuck at 2%, where it's just always adding 2% anywhere below 3000 RPM. And then it's just running like rich and doesn't really like it, where it should be just correcting once it's below 3000 RPM and trying to target the perfect AFR. It doesn't do that sometimes. And then for me to get out of the glitch, I have to shut the car off, like kill power to it, start it back up, whatever. So I'm kind of just at the point where it's becoming more of a hassle than something I want to deal with. I actually found the car was way happier when it just wasn't even hooked up at all. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like a wiring issue I have or something, but it seems to be way happier if I just let the wideband data log to the S300 itself and skip the whole closed loop idea together. It will be a little bit more of a pain in like the long run and tuning, where I can't just let the car auto adjust. I'm gonna actually have to like go in there and dial in different temperatures of air temperature and coolant temperature and whatnot. So like I'll have to just kind of tune the car. Okay, it's a hotter day out, when it's idling, if it's a little bit richer lean, I'll have to just go in and adjust some of those. But in the long run, I know that little bit of extra work will actually pay off. So I'm not really too concerned about that. It'll just take a bit more time. But yeah, it is way more secure to be mounted like this. It's got all 4 bolts in it instead of just like one that I had this little sketchy janky thing up there. Don't mind that little thing. I was gonna do a cool plug thing in the firewall, but never got around to it. Well, that'll be later, whatever. So I made these little rubber grommets out of hockey pucks, you know, the Canadian way. It seemed to be pretty good. It kind of takes some vibration out of the ECU, but keeps it secured at the same time. So that was a little, you know, Canadian trick I thought I figured out. I've used hockey pucks to make engine mounts on my 240 back in the day, so why not? You know, fire extinguisher mounted just in case. You never know, something bad could happen there. But yeah, I got like the carpet and stuff in, made it look cleaner around the shifter, bolted all that. You know, you don't really see as many wires, just kind of those come through there. When I was wiring this, it was me learning what I'm kind of doing back then. You know, we got a radio and some speakers, so you can still have a good time in it. I put a headliner kind of thing in. I had to put these in to pass VI2. That was one thing that they were on me about. I did race a Lamborghini last year, and it was a pretty close race. So actually the Lamborghini, I think I was pulling a hair, but then I raced a Ferrari after and it got me pretty good. So I think at 18 pounds of boost, this thing is has the capabilities of keeping up with a low-end Lamborghini. Not any of the SVJ stuff or whatever, but you know, your base model Lamborghini, slamming gears, giving Lambos tears. What should we start off first? I'm gonna pull actually the air filter off and get that thing drying out. I'd like to clean it before the season. There's a car meet in Kelowna here next weekend. August Motorsports is doing their grand opening of their custom shop, and they're hosting a little car meet thing there. So I figured, why not be the perfect opportunity to take the Civic out and see how it does. Kind of get it all ready for that in today's video. And then this weekend, I was gonna do a whole bunch of content of me driving this thing, having fun in it, tuning it, hitting some boost pulls. So let's get into the video. So I've got the trusty old flathead here. Just gonna go through the front of the grill, undo this clamp, and we should be able to pull that right off. Boom, boom. And I just wash this guy, make it all nice and clean. I don't think I showed you guys any of this stuff, but I added a boost controller, and I bought a new wastegate too because the eBay one that I bought blew up after like, I don't know, 3,000 kilometers. The whole top half shattered. The shaft got all messed up. The diaphragm blew up. The whole thing was mangled. And, you know, classic eBay. What could I expect? So anyways, bought this one from a company in Canada here. They're based out in, Alberta, Black Sheep Industries. I don't have a proper dump on it yet. So, you know, it looks a little black down there, but don't worry about that. It's okay. And we got 2 lines coming out of the boost controller. So one goes to the top, one goes to the bottom, and then they can pulse the air to get the desired boost. The way that it's currently set up, the car is kind of maxed out with the spring in it. It will hit about 18 pounds, 17 pounds of boost with the boost controller like fully working as hard as it can. So if I want to make more boost, I got to put the stiffer spring in. The downside is that I can't go low boost as much. And I do kind of like having the low boost setting just because like this car is already pretty crazy fast at like 7-8 pounds of boost, which is pretty nice just for ripping around. And then if you really want to go nuts, you turn it on to high boost. But the really cool thing is it now has boost by gear. Here it'll do about 8 pounds of boost. Second gear, I think I set it at like 13, 14 pounds of boost. And then third gear, fourth gear, and fifth gear, it's allowed to go all the way up to 17, 18 pounds of boost. I got to double check what I set it all at, but it's right around that area. It took a little bit of figuring out. You basically kind of have to just go out with the car, drive it, see what the boost pressures are at different duty cycles. And then from there, you create a little table that says, okay, if the boost controller is at 55% duty cycle, that equals this much boost. And, you know, if it's at 100% duty, or not, you shouldn't go to 100, but when it's at like 80% duty cycle, it's at this amount of boost and whatnot. Next thing I'm going to do is pull the fuel rail off and just take a quick look at the injectors. I kind of forgot to record some of that. I thought my camera was on when it wasn't, but all four injectors are back in place. I'm just going to clean the rail now, so I'll bring you guys over to the bench and just do a quick little clean on that. Basically just going to put some brake clean through it and blow some air through it. Nothing too crazy. I think it would be a good idea to replace this one just because it is cracked and like kind of falling apart here. Like I'll show you. I'll come around so you can really take a good gander at it. But you know, you can see there, it's just pretty mangled at this point. It's those ORB things. So I'm gonna take that off there. So I'm gonna jack the car up in the air, change the engine oil. And that's already been scraping up. Nice, nice, nice. I'm gonna use this old trusty Mastercraft tool. There's the down pipe, still looking good. I'm gonna tighten this thing on there like that. Like I said, it's not the worst thing to work on. Like, you'd think the engine bay is tight, but it's not too bad. And then, there we go. Okay, so we got our new OEM Honda filter. Okay, I'm gonna put the new battery in the car now. I don't know if I ever showed you guys how I did the battery mount, but basically I made this little tray cover thing. This is from RH Race Cars, company that was in town. They had all these battery tray things. So anyways, they had all these left over when they shut down. So I bent this one up to fit my battery, worked mint. And there's like a little box that sits at the bottom to hold the bottom of it, really nice and secure. The cop tried to give me a VI. For one of the reasons was battery not secure, and I was like, man, you could kick this thing and it's not going anywhere, but it is what it is. So yeah, we'll drop the battery in there. There's two little posts with nice little sleeves so you don't even see the threads. It's super clean, like, you know, better than most factory cars, to be honest. Okay, so I'm not sure how much my phone caught because it said it ran out of storage. And I guess that's the moment when you realize you should have bought the other iPhone with more memory or whatever, but I just deleted a whole bunch of photos, so it should be good now. Okay, the little red key, I'm about to put that guy in. It goes at the back of the car, right here. There we go, car is now on. And I will turn the camera around and I'm just gonna prime the car. So key in the key slot, pretty simple. What are we, interior lights, just to make that simpler. So I'm just gonna watch to see that little oil gauge go ding, ding, ding. Go again. Go one more time. Boom, saw it bounce there. Don't want to hold the starter for too long at once. You can burn that thing out doing that. Next thing I'm going to check is the fuel system. Okay, we got no fuel leaks. You can see we got fuel pressure over there. Everything's looking good. We are good to start this thing up. I'll give you guys kind of like the sequence. So turn that guy on, this guy on, that guy on. Now the cluster has its power. Turn the fuel pump on. You can hear it turning on there. And here we go. A little bit of a rough start there. Got lots of oil pressure. I need to fix like the, right when it fires up, it's really, really rich. Everything looks good over there. I'm gonna shut it off now. And I'll put it on the ground and let it fully warm up and we'll check the oil again. Car is on the ground now. Going to put the key into the rear. Master off on. Good to go there. Hop in the car. The other switches are already still on. And I'm gonna fire it up, let it warm up, come up to temp, and just check everything out. So here we go. Right, you gotta turn the fuel pump on. Oh my God. There we go. She's alive. She's alive. Okay, I'm gonna let this thing warm up and I'll be back shortly. Oh wait. That's gonna be it for this video. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for next weekend when I take this thing out and start ripping it.